We are now left with 3 more talks. Firstly, it will be on celiac disease, a subject which normally people ignore. And I have an excellent speaker with me, Dr. Neelam Mohan. Please join us here. May I request Dr. Anil Goyal, the member of Delhi Medical Council, and Dr. Ramesh Datta, being a pediatrician, to please chair this session. Dr. Anil Goyal and Dr. Ramesh Datta. Dr. Neelam Mohan is a pediatric gastroenterologist, hepatologist, and she is one person who is in charge of liver transplant section in Gangaram Hospital. And I'll request Dr. Anil Goyal to just introduce.
Thank you, Dr. K.K. Agarwal. As a matter of fact, I've been just told that I would be chairing this session. So I would straight away request Dr. Neelam Mohan to speak on advances in pediatric diseases, and that is non-liver. Is that the topic?
Celiac disease. She is speaking on celiac disease.
Advances in pediatric diseases non-liver. Is that
Actually it was celiac. The thing is that in celiac disease, why did I choose celiac disease was it is one of the most prevalent thing in North India, and you will find such a myriad presentation of celiac disease. I'm here to talk when to think of celiac disease, so it will be right from here to toe. That's what the topic is all about. And what is celiac disease? Because it is so prevalent, it is now being picked up 1 in almost 200 cases, and it is not only seen in children but also being picked up in adults. So everyone who is in North India must be totally aware about celiac disease. Right. So celiac disease, basically it is an autoimmune enteropathy. That means the body is developing an autoimmunity towards what? Towards a protein. What is that protein? The protein is a gluten or a gliadin, which is seen in the wheat and wheat products like maida, suji, etc. So the body develops an autoimmunity in genetically susceptible. So therefore I said North India, because North Indians are genetically susceptible. The same genes have been found in abroad in UK because the Aryans had migrated. You don't see this in South India. So in genetically susceptible patient, you will see the gluten component of the wheat. They are allergic to that. And the genetics, we've now understood what the genetics are, which is actually DQ2 and DQ8. So how does celiac disease present to you? It presents to you with typical manifestations, with atypical manifestations. Typical, all of you will be able to detect. The patient comes to you with diarrhea. Diarrhea, failure to thrive. Failure to thrive in children may mean weight and height. Both are not growing. So it is very important for all physicians, irrespective adult or whatever, you must keep a growth chart. If you see a child and in the growth chart the weight and the height is not according to what it should be, less than the third centile, please worry. There is something that you need to pick up. What is atypical manifestations is those which are not related to diarrhea. Anything which is not related to diarrhea. So something which is related to malabsorption. For example, malabsorption means you're not absorbing inside your body. That means iron deficiency, calcium deficiency, protein deficiency, all rickets, vitamin D deficiency. So anything which is resulting due to malabsorption without you finding a diarrhea, all that are also atypical manifestations. And some manifestations which I'm going to show about are independent of malabsorption because it's an autoimmune trigger. This is a classical presentation. A child will come to you with history of diarrhea and pain abdomen, and if you see the abdomen is protruding out, if you concentrate, the legs are a little bit bow-shaped. That means this child has got abdominal distension, the child is weight and height is less, and the child has got diarrhea, the child has got pain. To look, the child is pale and the legs. When we were students, we used to be taught about protein, energy, malnutrition and Kwashiorkor. Everything in this earth was that. But no, the understanding is it's basically a malabsorption. Identify such patients, try to rule out celiac disease in them. How do the adults come to you? They might come to you with diarrhea, or one of the commonest manifestations that will come is an iron deficiency anemia. Hemoglobin low in an adult. Think of celiac disease. And what are the less common features? Two common features are less. Short stature. A child whose height is not good, don't go for growth hormone estimations and all those. Go for the basics. Rule out thyroid. Second, rule out celiac disease. These are the two commonest causes of short stature in children, rather than thinking of endocrinal hormonal problems. And in other things, if a person comes to you with recurrent stomatitis, recurrent ulcers, pain abdomen, and steatorrhea, one stool a day, but doctor साहब, that if I may be allowed to speak in Hindi, इतना खाता नहीं है जितना potty करता है. That means even if there is a one stool, but it is so large an amount, more than 200 grams, think this may be a malabsorption, a celiac disease. Constipation. Here I am talking about diarrhea, and there I am again saying, even in constipation, think about celiac disease, because 10% of these patients can present to you with constipation. What are the extra GI features? I will start right from head to toe because it will be easy to remember. You can have alopecia, you can have epilepsy, you can have ataxia, you can have anemia, you can have stomatitis, you can have ulcers, you can have dental enamel problems, you can have thyroid problems, you could have liver problems, you could have dilated cardiomyopathy. I've seen children with cardiac problem, then entire thing with abdomen, gut-related problems which we are talking, pancreatitis, you could have recurrent abortions, you could have infertility in adults. When you have recurrent abortions and infertility, it is must to rule out celiac disease. That is the dictum of the American and the European suggestions. Vasculitis, psoriasis. So I have enumerated right from head to toe anything and everything you can think of celiac disease. Simple thing, because it's a totally treatable thing. I mean, there's hardly anything that you have to do. And it is associated with 2 to 3% of the patients with IgA deficiency. It gets very difficult when there is IgA deficiency, because most of my tests are dependent on IgA. So it gets very difficult to identify these patients who are IgA deficiency, because these tests are not going to be picked up. Now, besides that, diabetes mellitus and thyroiditis. If you have a patient who's a diabetic mellitus and your sugars are not being controlled, just think about celiac disease. If they have celiac disease, their diabetes control will be very bad. And if you treat them, then both will come well. And in thyroid disorders, again, you might not be getting good control unless you rule out an associated celiac disease. So what if I diagnose celiac disease and I try to keep eating intermittently gluten, wheat and wheat products? What will happen to me, doctor? Weight is looking nice, everything. You have to be honest and tell to them, if you are not compliant, then they will get complications. If you are 100% compliant, you are going to live happily ever after like any other normal person. Otherwise, you will develop complications like lymphoma of the intestine, carcinoma of the intestine, ulcerative jejunolitis. These are real bad complications that could be if you are non-compliant. That means you're diagnosed as celiac disease and yet you go on eating wheat. This is the issues that you're going to face. Having said that, so many manifestations. So how do I diagnose? So what test will I do? I will do two types of tests. One type of test, why this is it, see, what is the cause for it? The other test, what are the effects in the body? So to see the effects in the body, I will do test of malabsorption. That means I will do hemoglobin, I will do iron, calcium, vitamin D, etc. So all these tests are telling me what are the manifestations. But how do I diagnose? Only by two things. One is a serological test, one is an endoscopic biopsy.